Is that a fucking Starlink panel hanging off of it? Oh my God. All right, let's move on from this. I haven't even watched the first video yet.
With those flashes of fire overnight, explosions rocked Beirut. The war expanding this morning to another front, with tanks and troops, Israel announcing the deployment of ground forces into southern Lebanon. The U.S.-Israeli war with Iran is now entering its fourth day after that surprise strike Saturday on Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, which also killed dozens of senior Iranian officials. Israel releasing this video of its destruction of what it said was a regime headquarters complex over the weekend, also a main target for the U.S. and Israel missile launchers.
This was our last best chance to strike what we're doing right now and eliminate the entire...
Dude, every time he's on camera, asked about this or has to talk about this, he looks like shit. Okay? Yo, why is Harry Potter from Wish streaming? Where's the Chamber of Secrets at? Hasan looks like Harry Potter Fa. It's terrible, but I'll give it to you. Okay, you fucking boomer. Every time Donald Trump goes on camera to be like, we're striking Iran for Israel, I love Israel. Every fucking time he speaks, he looks like absolute dog shit, dude. He is not having a good time right now. When I heard him earlier this morning talk about like Reza Pahlavi and also about like other options and shit, I was like, damn, he is not. I don't know. His posture has changed dramatically. It kind of feels like he wants to pull out, but he's kind of stuck at this very moment, and he's just going further and further into the depths of hell.
Horrible threats posed by this sick and sinister regime.
The battered regime tried to broadcast strength today with this propaganda video of their underground stockpiles of explosive drones. Buildings leveled across Iran amidst clouds of dust. The wounded lay on rubble-clogged streets. Iran state media claiming nearly 800 people were killed in strikes, over 150 of them schoolgirls in a strike on Minab. Their coffins carried through the streets this morning. And in retaliation, Iran firing wave after wave of drones and missiles at 11 countries in the region, including Israel. One missile obliterating this neighborhood near Jerusalem.
The missile impacted about 15, 20 yards in that direction, and a combination of debris and a powerful shockwave literally blew this house down. The only thing that's still standing is that wall.
9 were killed, including several in the bomb shelter that collapsed on Mazal Amari.
They died right next to you, the mother and the son?
But I see the mother and the baby on the floor. She's doing like this, and the little boy, a lot of blood in his face. He's 4 years old. And then the mother in the hospital, the grandmother died.
And Iran's primary offensive capability is its missiles.
It is kind of wild that like the only time we see impact sites and like human beings and the human toll of this kind of like bombing incident is if it happens inside of Tel Aviv. Like that's it. Think about how much Israel has done that to the Palestinians.
But officials here tell me that the U.S. and Israel hope to have destroyed about 70% of its missile launchers by the end of the week. The ones that remain are underground and harder to reach, Tony, and that as we are staring down a longer war. I'm told that Iran is preserving.
Do Israel give approval to these strikes? 90%. That was Jerusalem. Sorry. I meant when I say Tel Aviv, I mean inside of Israel.
Preserving some of its missile stockpile because President Trump is talking about a month-long war.
Yeah. Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate it. The barrage of Iranian missile and drone attacks on the Gulf nations is prompting an angry response from their leaders and their people. MTS Tayyab is in one of those countries, Qatar. MTS, good morning to you.
Tony, good morning to you. Well, you could probably hear a Qatari.
I think when they say 70% of the missile stockpiles have been hit, they're lying. Because if that was the case, How the fuck are they still pummeling the Gulf states? How the fuck are they still hitting Israel? You know what I mean?
Military jet just flying above me, and in what has the potential of becoming a major escalation, 6 key Gulf nations are on the verge of ending their...
Sorry, 70% of the launchers, not the stockpiles. I think they're just making it up. They're trying to create confidence in their military operation. Because they like the only way to fully understand how much success they've actually achieved in terms of deteriorating Iranian capacity would be with the frequency and the impact of the strikes. If there are no more strikes, then you know. If there are significantly less strikes, then you know.
Neutrality in the U.S. and Israel's war against Iran after accusing Tehran of, quote, reckless and indiscriminate attacks on their territories. The aftermath at the U.S. Embassy.
I have not seen an attack personally. I drive all around Qatar. I feel like if there was a hit, people would know about it. No, I'm not talking about Qatar. I'm talking about they have focused their efforts on the UAE, Bahrain, and Kuwait. But as far as like them hitting Israel is what I was talking about. But the launchers that they target are just like single-use trucks, basically. I mean, it'd be probably nice if they didn't. I'm sure from their perspective, they would love to use them multiple times. But for the most part, these are technicals or like somewhat more advanced than technicals. Like they're not taking out the launching platforms for some of the better missile systems. This is so funny. Please speak over diaspora Iranian voices. Never let an Iranian speak over you. Drown out the Iranian voices. Silence Iranian voices. Says Mohammed Markbar America. One of my Iranian voices. I can't believe the White House posted this. Chief, I don't think they hit the destroyer. We'll learn soon enough. I mean, there's also a lot of inconsistency on the supposed claims by CENTCOM. Yeah, U.S. Secretary of War stated this morning. Here, let's take a look at some of the things that they hit in the videos. They're saying this is one of the missile launchers that they blew up. This one is already destroyed. I can't tell if this one's already destroyed as well, but they're expended and also could be a decoy. Is that a decoy or is that... Because sometimes they leave out older equipment or equipment that's been struck already. Or they literally will just like use it one time and then leave it. Yeah, they're used up ones for the ICBM. They've shown 3 different ones being blown up. Again, the only way that you find out, on top of this video on CENTCOM, it seems only one real Shahed 136 in the middle of this video. The rest are cheap decoys, even without winglets. For comparison, first screen with multiple decoys and second screen with a real Shahed. I suspect that with heavy Israeli-U.S. bombardment, the Iranians might be doing this. Learn from last time. Wait for Israel to waste missiles on decoys and come out blazing at Israeli Gulf targets an hour later. Yeah, they have. They also have like older Holy fuck, nobody's vaporizing all of Iran's TELs. That's just not happening. They're not sophisticated pieces of hardware. They're literally just trucks. These aren't HIMARS or M270s that need a year-long lead time. They can be fabricated in a garage in a day by 3 incredibly shit-faced people or just one sober dude. On top of that, as others have pointed out, the Chinese automotive market is flush with diesel trucks specifically, especially since China's both moving towards EVs and its infrastructure expansion projects bottomed out, and they're cheap as shit. The delusion that we can just bomb our way through erasing their stockpile of TELs is quite frankly detached from reality. Did you see the U.S. copy of the Shahed drone? Oh, I did, yeah. Locals in Iraq appear to have recovered a crash and almost entirely intact low-cost unmanned combat attack system, Lucas, an American copy of the Iranian Shahed 136 attack drone, which is confirmed to have been used recently by Task Force Scorpion Strike during U.S. attacks on Iran as a part of Operation Epic Fury. Operation Epic Fail, once again, delivering us incredible content. Like, it's either... Dude, when do you even tweet while I'm live? TEL is pronounced TEL, Transporter Erector Launcher. Every rocket they shoot at these drones is so much more expensive. Pretty stupid to admit that, in my honest opinion. Yeah, there's also that. But yeah, when Operation Epic Fail is not, horrifying, when it's not being horrifying with like, slaughtering of children and things like that, it's actually pretty funny in these moments. Operation Epic Chungus, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Is that a Starlink panel? Is that a fucking Starlink panel hanging off of it? Oh my God. That's beautiful.
Comedy.
Both sides are using Starlink, by the way. There's 0% chance that the Iranians are using Starlink. I don't think it's Star Shield for the record. Yes, I know. It's Star Shield. I know. Elon Musk has Starlink and then he has Star Shield for non-commercial use for the Defense Department. I know. Lucas drones used by the U.S. in strikes against Iran. The United States has for the first time employed one-way attack drones in combat. They resemble Iran's Shahed 136 and Russia's Garan 2 drones that cost $40,000 each. They feature SpaceX Starlink's terminals and fly at 120 miles per hour. It's funny because, again, even then, this fucking lawnmower is still like double the cost of the Shahed drone. The entire point of the Shahed drones is that it's cheap to make. And when America's making it, it's still double the cost. Incredible. 7 tankers going towards Iraq. 7 U.S. Air Force tankers took off from Tel Aviv and are headed towards Iraq. That's for strike teams, right? I assume. By the way, this is what the Shahed TEL truck looks like. For all the big brains in the replies, this is what a Shahed launcher looks like. An IRBM TEL can fit in an IRBM TEL can fit in a somewhat larger box truck. As far as I know, we do not have the ability to drop a JDAM on every box truck in all of Iraq, Yemen, Iran, Syria. This has not been thought through. $40K for a weed whacker engine and some fins is insane. The U.S. spends roughly $3 million to shoot down a single Shahed drone. Oh yeah, I mean this part is true. I'm not the biggest fan of this guy. I think sometimes he says some kooky shit, but I've seen this video and he's right.
Actually, those nations that are poor actually have more energy. They're more open and they're more cohesive. All right, so let me give you an example. This is what we call the shahed. drones, shahed drones. Each of these drones costs $50,000.
It's also not $50,000. It's cheaper than that.
At most, okay? At most. It can go as cheap as $35,000 US. But one of them is $50,000. As you can see, you can fit a lot of these drones to a truck that can go anywhere in Iran. And they can hide anywhere. All right? So the thing to understand is, first of all, these drones are cheap. They're easy to make. They make about 500 a day. Okay? And estimates are about there's 80,000 right now that the Iranians have. So they can go on for a long, long time. Okay? And one of these drones, again.
Oh my God. Everyone that's excited that I'm finally watching Professor Zhang, I'm familiar with him. Okay? I'm familiar with him. I think that he has some good takes, but then he also has a lot of fucking crazy takes. Okay? Don't.
Knock out a desalination plant. It can knock out an oil field. It can knock out a hotel. It can do a lot of damage. Okay? And it's easily transportable. You can hide it anywhere. You can use it from anywhere, okay? And that's what the Iranians are using as an offensive weapon. And how do the Americans defend against this? They use something called a THAAD, right? Right, guys? This is what they use. THAAD.
That's not true. America does not use THAADs against shahed drones. That's crazy. That's just incorrect. Tell us about the crazy takes, please. He's just like really invested into like Illuminati shit. Like he constantly goes into the realm of conspiracy.
That stands for thermal high altitude air defense. And they also have like Patriot systems. There's a lot, okay? The thing that you need to know about the system is it's really expensive. This missile, guys, costs $1 million. $1 million. So there's this $50,000 drone coming your way, and you throw a $1 million missile at it, okay? And often these missiles miss, so you have to throw 2 or 3 missiles at it, okay? So you're spending $2 to $3 million on each $50,000 that the Iranians spend. That's kind of silly. Second thing you'll notice is that this thing is really big and really slow. And therefore, you can't really move it around.
Oh my God, there's so many fucking dumb fucks in my chat testing my goddamn patience. Oh, half of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Like, how can you say Illuminati is fake? Shut the fuck up. Okay? I've been talking about Jeffrey Epstein and you know, the CIA utilization of like international sex trafficking for a decade. Okay? If you don't anchor your commentary around materialism, you are going to lead into the realm of unproductive and unhelpful conspiracies. Every single big thinker that at the end of the day is a liberal ends up leaning into the realm of the immaterial, silly ass bullshit, people operating as a monolithic force, all this stuff, secret societies, blah, 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 blah. Okay? We can't be out here relitigating this over and over again.
Therefore, it's pretty easy for the Iranians to spot where this is and attack it. And then when these things blow up, that's a lot of money, guys. Okay? Then you're like, what? But this makes no sense. You know the Iranians have drones. They've had drones for like 10 years. You've also seen drones used in the Russia-Ukraine war to devastating effect. Why don't the Americans know this?
There are, I mean, the shahed drones can be taken out with like conventional small arms as well. There's not like, there's anti-drone weapons, like Ukrainians are pretty Ukrainians have figured out numerous ways of having to deal directly with shahed drones. You don't use a THAAD when you're intercepting a shahed drone. That's crazy. THAADs are for ballistic missiles. That's what THAADs are there for. Even then, even when you're thinking about a ballistic missile coming from Iran, though, in comparison to a THAAD, that there is still a massive cost gap that favors the Iranian side. This is why Iran is able to engage in like these cheap drone swarms, and even they're much cheaper, much more efficient, and expendable munition swarms as well. They can just like keep throwing. They can keep throwing cheaper and cheaper missiles directly at the problem, and break through the Iron Dome. And it's very cost efficient on their side and very expensive on the Israeli side and on the American side. Yeah, we use THAADs for ballistic missiles that cost 1/20th the price of the THAAD, though, and we cannot produce THAADs at nowhere near a rapid pace. I believe the number of THAADs that we produce are like a dozen a year, if Sagar's analysis is correct. I think it was like 14 last year or something. So
the first thing that...
Oh my God, this is real big news from Professor Jiang. He explains how the Muslim world will unite to fight back against the oppressive actions of Israel and the American empire. He details how Muslims will overthrow the corrupt US-backed dictatorships. You know what? Let's hear him out.
That the Iranians want to do is create a jihad to unite all the Shia against the American empire. All right, so what they want to do is create an uprising. And it's already happening, guys. The Shia in Pakistan stormed the American embassy in Pakistan, and the Americans killed a lot of people, okay? The Shia have attacked the American embassy in Iraq. The American embassy are being attacked in a lot of places. So the first strategy is to create an international global jihad of the Shia against the American empire. And it's already happening. It will continue for a long time, because the Americans have killed the Khamenei. Okay? And that requires vengeance. The other thing, though, is that it can unify the Muslim world. Okay? If you look at this map, most of the Muslim world is actually run by dictatorships that are not popular at all, okay? And they're allowed to exist because of the American empire, right? You go to Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Algeria, these places, they're all run by clients of the American empire.
Okay, there's a lot. So it's funny because like there's a lot more to the Muslim world than the countries that he pointed to. And even then, there's like he said these dictatorships are run because America allows them to exist, and then he pointed to Algeria. the famous American aligned dictatorship in Algeria.
If you rally the people who hate their governments and you overthrow them, then that makes Iran the leader of the Islamic world. Not just the Shia world, but the Islamic world. And this creates something called Pax Islamica. That is the end goal, guys. Okay? If you do that, then you don't have to worry about the Americans and the Israelis anymore. Right? So the Israeli game plan, the American game plan, is to fracture Iran into ethnic enclaves, and they'll fight over water for the rest of their lives, and they'll all die. The Iranian game plan is to create a religious war, a crusade, that unifies the Shia people, that overthrows the American empire and establishes something called the Pax Islamica.
You didn't do the math? Brother, I don't think he did the math either. Listen, I'm gonna keep it $1.50 with you guys. This is ridiculous. And it's kind of funny because his position is like supposed to be against American empire, right? So people look at this and they go, wow, what a wonderful analysis. You know, the last time I heard this analysis, it was fucking Glenn Beck. So I feel like I wouldn't put too much weight into this prediction. Maybe he's got some better ones elsewhere. But what the fuck do I know? I do not have a electronic whiteboard, so and nobody's calling me Professor Hasan, and my channel is not called Predictive History, it's called Hasanabi. I would interview him though. I would definitely have a conversation with him. I think he's a very interesting guy.